A very good morning to you, our dear viewers. It's yet another time for Press Review program right here on Luntha TV. Today, Wednesday, the 5th of October in the year of 2022. You'll be with me, Alina Perry, and my colleague,
Jacqueline Said.
As usual, we'll be looking at some of the stories that are appearing in the publications of The Nation and also the Daily Times. To begin with the Nation newspaper, on the front page, we have MCP victims claim 23 trillion kwacha. The subheadline says government moves to negotiate with the claimants. Partly, the story says the taxpayers face a whopping 23 trillion kwacha claim from about 23,000 victims of various atrocities committed during the one-party rule of Malawi Congress Party MCP between 1964 and 1994. But Attorney General Thabo Chakaka Nyirenda has argued that the amount claimed is not economically correct to be paid by the Malawi government. As such, his office and the Ministry of National Unity have moved to engage the claimants on the best way to resolve the matter.
On the front page of the Daily Times, before we go to this, 23 trillion kwacha, that is a lot of money.
Yes, I mean it's even surpassing our budget.
Exactly. I mean, okay. I'm surprised that on the front page of the Daily Times, Chabera banks on United Arab Emirates support on fuel. Part of the story, President Lazarus Chakwera has said he expects the United Arab Emirates to help Malawi with investments in fuel and electricity. Chakwera was speaking on his return from the United States and Dubai, where he, among other things, attended the United Nations General Assembly and signed the $350 million US Millennium Challenge Cooperation Compact. The president's remarks come after long fuel queues and dry pumps have returned to the country's cities and towns, forcing motorists to spend hours at pump station. This is very hard. For a person to stay hours waiting to gas up their cars,
you find long queues like from the pump station itself, like around the road, like
about even more than 100 meters. Queue
yes.
that. This is very sad, and as a country, I think we really need that.
And the boring part is you wait on that queue, and then you hear that
exactly, that is exactly what is happening.
You're traveling, and then they'll be like, we'll only be able to give you 5 liters. 5 liters can take you to where? It's very sad, and I think if this could really come to take place, like the Arab Emirates helping us, I think it will be a very good development.
We would actually be very grateful people, a very grateful nation, because this is so hard.
Because you look at also other works are being put on hold, like the expansion of the road, the Mzimba Street, the one we're starting from somewhere around Crossroads, somewhere around Kamuzu Central Hospital. You find that they use diesel, and diesel is nowhere to be seen. If you can find diesel, you get it in a little amount. But those people, they say they use at least 3,000 to 4,000 liters a day, and that's only on one side. So you look at maybe they are on 2 sides, something like that. It's very worrisome. It will also slow down to say if we set the date.
Projects,
yes, if we set the date, say this project will end, let's say on the 10th of October.
It's not going
to happen because of this same issue of fuel. How are they supposed to operate when they don't have fuel to help
Whatever
them?
needs to be done to resolve this fuel and electricity crisis, I'm on it. I mean, please.
Moving on, here we have Ministry 620 billion kwacha to fight cholera. I think every department nowadays, ministry, department, agencies, everywhere there's need for money to fight this, to fight that. But then we're also crying, where are we going to get the money?
And I believe as a country we need to find ways because when we say that, for example, this ministry 620 billion kwacha to fight cholera, I think
also as citizens, maybe great citizens of this nation, we should try to come up with ways in which we can be helping, maybe to raise these funds. We cannot just be saying we need 20 billion and expect other nations, other organizations to fund us in this, because it begins with us. We have to start and find ways in which we can raise such amounts.
Yeah, we can simply organize something like a fundraiser, let's say dinner, something like that, whether sports, people will compete, something like that, they'll contribute a little something, and the money that will be, that will get there, we can help them. Yes, like, okay, this is how much we've collected. Little by little, we'll be cutting that amount, you know, we'll be remaining with a little something to finish everything.
And I believe this kind of trend is actually what is making us to be crying today about the whole electricity, the whole fuel, you know, because we keep on getting the money. Because we go like, I didn't receive account number 1, Johnny, whatever that is, whatever it means, you know, we keep on getting without putting something in it. We cannot expect other nations and organizations just to be supporting when we're actually just tapping from that,
They'll end up ruling us. I mean, you feel like, okay, you're getting something from us, you do this. If you want the money, you do that. In the end,
we'll have nothing as Malawians.
Alright, so but then the story says Minister of Health has unveiled a 6-point national cholera response plan estimated to cost about 21 billion kwacha to eradicate the pandemic within 2 months before the rains start. Speaking at a press conference in Lilongwe yesterday, Minister of Health Kumbise Chiponda said looking at the increase in cases, the revised plan is designed to stop new infections.
And I also think that as maybe on an individual basis, as Malawians, we need to take part in this whole fight, because cholera is one kind of a disease that you can easily get, but then also it is something which you can easily prevent, because what you need is to just wash your hands.
Sanitation, just be hygienic.
Exactly. We can easily prevent the spread of this disease.
I remember I attended this other function, the time, what do we call this law association of ours? It was presenting a report, the final report on the something about a Health Act, something like that. So they say one of the doctors, actually the one who heads, I should say, Kamuzu Central Hospital, he raised a point to say not all health issues fall under the Ministry of Health. I'm saying this because you look at this issue of cholera, it's an issue of which falls under the Ministry of Water and Sanitation. So if the Ministry of Water and Sanitation could take up this issue and to say we need to bring about clean water, there has to be a clean environment in these kinds of areas, I don't think the Minister of Health could be like in this situation, trying to source money, trying to fight this whole thing, like the way it has reached at this point.
Yes.
And the rain is coming. It will just be worse if we don't tackle this issue, if we don't address this issue now. So I think it's not all health issues for me as well. I think they don't fall under the Ministry of Health. Some, they belong to other ministries, like Ministry of Water in this case.
Yeah. All right, moving on. Malawi IMF in fresh talks, and there's a subheading of the story. Malawi IMF start RCF talks today. Part of the story, the Malawi government and the International Monetary Fund IMF mission will from today to October 17th engage in discussions aimed at reaching a rapid credit facility program. RCF provides rapid concessional financial assistance to low-income countries facing an urgent balance of payments need with no ex-post conditionality, where a full-fledged economic program is neither necessary nor feasible. And this goes on that the RFC negotiations come at a time Malawi has been vigorously pushing for an extended credit facility program since the start of the year. We need money as a country, but people cannot just be bowing down to each and every single proposal made by these other organizations that are going to be helping us. I think as a country we need to learn to start coming up with ways in which we can raise our own funds.
Yeah. Here we have 29 million kwacha fraud exposed at Karonga District Council. A National Audit Office audit report for Karonga District Council has found that 29,261,010 was lost through fraud in the fiscal years of 2020 to 2022. The fraud is blamed on systems of internal controls for local revenue, which are said to be weak, resulting in lapses in the financial management of funds, according to the report.
On the fourth page, Gungwe dares Malawians on resource utilization. Part of the story, Finance Minister Sulston Gungwe has challenged Malawians to utilize resources channeled to public projects for the country to register socioeconomic gains. Gungwe said this at PIM ground in Chiladzuru district yesterday when stakeholders launched the Climate Smart Enhanced Public Works program. He said every Malawian should find something that can economically sustain their lives. This is true. We really need to be able to come up with ideas, to come up with things that will just help us in helping maybe economically to help develop this country economically, because we cannot just be saying government this, government that, because soon, maybe in just less than 4 months, we'll also go back to the same issue of disasters.
Exactly.
So it will be like government has to be providing food, it has to be providing shelter for people, because this is an every year kind of situation that we can't really run away from at this point, we can say. But I believe that we can come up with ideas, we can come up with ways in which we can help prevent maybe a vast, I don't really know exactly how I can say this, but there are a lot of people that are facing this kind of crisis. But I think we can drop down the numbers if we work towards better ways. So it begins with money and it ends with money. So if we can come up with ways, maybe to try and find money, or maybe use the same money that we have properly in when the money, wherever the money is designated, the money should be going there. Yeah. Maybe as a country, we'll move. I don't know.
Oh, I mean, what matters the most is to properly utilize the resources that you have.
Yes.
Because if you have a little resources, you have a little money, and then you also misuse that, I don't think you can grow. I don't think you can move from where you are to another level.
Yes.
So I think it begins with you training yourself, changing your mindset, say, okay, if this money is budgeted for this plan A, I don't have to
take it to plan B.
Yes,
exactly. And I think this all goes to the saying that most of us, we budget for money that we don't get. For example, you're getting 20,000 per month and you're budgeting for about 40,000, well, that's twice the amount. So you use that money in a month when you were supposed to use that money in 2 months. That is the problem that we keep having, and we'll continue facing this kind of issues if we don't try to budget well, and maybe to stick to the budgets, because that is also what matters most, sticking to the budget. If you budget for 20,000, make sure that you stick to it, and make sure that that fits into your line, maybe your designated period of time, and that I will use this money in this period of time, use that.
Yeah. All right, moving on to the business section. Here we have EIU says kwacha still overvalued. The surveillance says sees kwacha trading at 1 trillion or 1 million, 1,224,400 kwacha by December. Partly the story says the Economist Intelligence Unit EIU says the kwacha is still overvalued and will depreciate further against the dollar to trade at 1,224 kwacha by December this year as chronic current account deficits persist. The kwacha, which is currently trading at 1,036 kwacha, to a dollar was devalued by 25% on May 27 this year in a move the central bank said was necessary to align the foreign exchange supply to the macroeconomic fundamentals as well as ensure supply of foreign exchange in the formal market. But I don't think this worked at all.
It doesn't. And that's the thing. It does not work because we keep dancing to these organizations' tunes. IMF says this, we do that.
Yeah.
EIU says this, we do that. But then does it really help? Because this takes us back to the Bingu era, you know. That's why people say, I think that man, may God rest his soul, he really had the best mindset. I mean, he was one of a kind, a person who did not relent. When people say jump, he could say, I don't want to jump.
It's someone who followed economics, you know.
Exactly.
Things about money, finances. You couldn't even go like, what can I say?
God rest his soul.
Yeah.
I mean, we need leaders like that, leaders that can stand up and say, you know what, we don't need to do this because we have tried this and it has not worked. But if we continue saying that, okay, they're saying we should jump, so we need to jump.
They devalued the question, saying that maybe we'll have the forex on the market, something
but we
like
don't
that.
have it.
We don't have it. And now we are also heading that direction to say we might devalue the kwacha again.
And they always come up with their own maybe notes, you know. They come up with a file like this and then they try to explain things. This is the way it's supposed to be.
This is one thing that maybe people out there, organizations, what they use. They'll give you a file like so huge. They'll say a lot of things just to confuse you. Something that could have just been explained with the page.
Exactly.
Something like that. But I think it's just one of the tactics that they use.
Exactly. We don't need notes. What we need at this point, this is the reality of it. We tried to devalue the kwacha. We did that. And nothing worked. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. I don't see any single thing that has worked.
It's getting worse.
Exactly. It's just getting worse. So I don't think that's the way to go. Maybe we should try to find other ways, better ways, in which we can try to up our game. Yes. On the business page of the Daily Times, ending procurement graft toll order. PPDA. Part of the story, Public Procurement and Disposal of Assets Authority Director General Errington Chilabondwa has said that it would be an insult to Malawians to say that corruption in public procurement will end tomorrow. Chilabondwa was responding to a question from the Business Times on why public procurement scandals continue to dominate both the mainstream and social media despite measures and commitment to curb the same. Speaking in Lilongwe on the sidelines of Internal Procurement and Disposal Committee training for the first cohort, Chilabondwa said the rise of cases of corruption in public procurement is a fact that cannot be denied. It really can't be denied. And this is true. But we still need to come up with ways in which we can end this because it needs to be done and dealt with. We can't really say that it's going to end tomorrow, but still, I think we need progress. When we say this, we want to use this, we're trying to implement this kind of way so that we end or maybe we try to push down the corruption rate. Levels. I think it should go like that because when you say we have maybe takazikitsanjira izizi zote zitetsere nkhani zonse zokhudza katangali kukapezeka zoti miezi kupita mwakazikitsamu unena zoti this is going to work, the framework is going to work in this period of time. Yes, mwakazikitsa kukajesunga.
I think that's one problem that we have in Malawi.
Exactly.
We are good at developing policies, documents that will guide us, but when the time comes for you to implement, you don't even go back and say, okay,
what did we say?
How did we say we are going to go about it?
Yeah, and in the process of coming up with those policies, we're actually spending a lot of money on those.
Yes.
A lot of money that could have been used to do or to develop other sectors of governance. I think we need to change as Malawians.
Here we have consumers lament rising goods prices. This story might be linked to the one that I read about kwacha, to depreciate further, as EIU said. Here we have Consumers Association of Malawi Kama says the scarcity of fuel the country is experiencing is compounding the cost of a living crisis by pushing up commodity prices affecting people's well-being. Data compiled by Kama shows that prices of basic commodities such as sugar, bread, cooking oil, flour and vegetables have risen by an average of 500 kwacha weeks after the scarcity of fuel. In a statement made available to Business News yesterday, Kama Executive Director John Capito said the failure to control the supply of key commodities such as fuel is an economic suicide for a poor country such as Malawi.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gabriel, for pointing that out. I think we really needed that.
Exactly.
Yeah, going on.
We really things are tough. You
very
buy bread at 1.2.
1.2.
1.2.
Exactly.
The bread that you could buy at 600. The bread that you could buy at 700.
I don't know where this country is going. Maybe it's not just the country, but I don't know where this world is going because, this is very bad.
I don't know where the country is going at the moment. I know what.
Yeah, we have had it. And it's not nice. It's not going into the right direction. I think we need to change a lot of things. A lot needs to change. If we don't...
I mean, we can talk about these things over and over again, complaining, bringing up these stories, people are complaining, these organizations are complaining. What matters is, are you hearing them?
Exactly.
Do you have an ear to act as well? What we need is action. We're speaking, but we need action from you,
Exactly. And I think if we go back to all the stories that we have read, I think we will notice that there's a trend in all of them. Well, moving on, SMEs rated poorly on credit worthiness. Part of the story, small and medium enterprises in the country have been rated poorly on credit worthiness due to high default rate and lack of necessary skills to manage funds.
Alright, here I'll just take one international story which says prioritize the climate action. UN chief tells COP27 delegates. Partly, the story says United Nations UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres has urged delegates to the forthcoming UN Climate Change Conference, COP27, to prioritize investment in climate resilience. Addressing journalists in New York, the United States of America, the UN chief said a failure by the group of 20 richest countries and other developed and emerging economies to honor their financial pledges is shutting the door on our chance to limit global temperature rise to 2 degrees Celsius, let alone meet the 1.5-degree goal.
Well, I think that would be the last story that we're going to take for now. And for more of the stories, you should try to buy your own paper so that you can get the full picture of what is appearing in the papers. As we said in the beginning, we had the Daily Times and the Nation, and they're both going at
1,000 kwacha.
Exactly. So if you want to get more of the stories, buy your own paper. And for today, you were with me, Jacqueline Saidi in Makorig.
Alena Feperi.
Thank you very much and have a lovely day.